your skin, let the airland wait to your flesh. Come up out of breath. Here inside, what you could have only drowned. Silent voices are beginning to break, learning in time that time will only leave you behind. Tall. Leave me, where there's no one at all. In the valley where all echoes go to rest. Your skin, let the airland wait to your flesh. A shooting star trapped in the spotlight, adorn the sky, forget your own plight. Do you know that you are something beautiful? So much noise just to keep the engine running, but I hear your voice above the humming. I hope you know that you are something beautiful. I hope you know that you are something beautiful. 'cause you should know that you are something beautiful. I hope you know that you are something beautiful. I hope you know that you are something beautiful.
Fairly directional. You can hold it. Yeah.
All right.
So Phil, is it all right, Phil? Philip?
Yeah,
Phil.
whatever. I'm easy.
Fantastic.
It's
Well,
such a strange name anyway.
Yeah, just call you P squared or something. Welcome to Munich Session Studio.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. I know you've played for us a few times anyway in the past, but for people that don't know, all the 10 viewers of this video covered up, tell us a bit of who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I think that I've been in Munich a few times, 3 times, because of you guys and thanks to you guys. But I'm from Australia. I'm from, I say Sydney. Everybody knows where it is on the map. But I live in Poland these days, not too far from the German border. But it allows me to tour and to play a lot more in Europe and this part of the world. Yeah.
Beautiful. And how do you like Poland? Did you settle in fine?
Yeah, it's a really nice country. The people are extremely hospitable, and it's a beautiful place. Yeah, it's a nice place to live.
Yeah, good quality of life.
Yeah, generally. We're not talking about politics today, are we?
No.
Okay, yeah. So generally good. Yeah.
I was going to say there's been some protests recently, hasn't there? There's been a few.
Yeah,
I saw Krakow was full.
And actually, I would say that I've lived there for 10 years, but I feel proud when there are good things connected with Poland.
Yeah.
You know, my wife is Polish. My kids, my son says he's Australian, but he's spent more of his life in Poland. But when people are standing up for democracy and we talked about the refugees before, so Ukrainian people coming across the border and the way that people stand up and help. It makes me proud as an observer, maybe as a brother to a sibling.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. This could go into a very dangerous conversation of a deep dive rabbit hole of European politics and cross section. Let's jump back to. So, how did you get into music in the first place?
Sure. I would say that I was a late bloomer. I think I did. The 3 things that you need, I guess, for a songwriter, I did them separately as a kid. So I sang a little bit. I always kind of wrote a little bit, and I picked up a guitar and played in a group. It was like a singing group where we played all these easy chords and easy songs with this nice lady. But I didn't decide that I wanted to play music until I was 25. So before that, I was a massage therapist. But yeah, I was traveling in France. I arrived in Paris. I bought a classical guitar, as all of the backpackers do. It was
lightweight carry.
That's right. Yeah, traipsing around with that, and it was that time that I thought, this is what I want to do. And I don't think that I had written a song then, but I just felt this is what I want to do.
Yeah, got the bug, as it were.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So speaking of, how do you actually go about writing songs? What's the sort of process for you? Because I mean, they are a bit more on the abstract side per se. You know, I mean, obviously they'll hear kind of thing as it goes along, but
sure.
It's not necessarily sort of verse chorus with you sometimes.
No.
Is it? No.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
No, it's a beautiful thing, man.
No, yeah,
it's not to digress. It's one of the things I love about electronic music.
Yeah,
because they just sort of say, well, we don't need that. here's 5 minutes of something that sounds fantastic, and it's atmospheric, and you're enamored by it. But like, you know, it's the same principle for your music. I love non-standard structures and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's funny because I love electronic music. I don't play, but I would love to. You know, I would even just I have been adding vocals to other musicians' work recently, which is really cool. But yeah, for me, I guess sometimes it's the idea that comes first, and sometimes it's the lyrics, and then you fit it to what's what you find musically, and of course then there's the other way as well. Sometimes there's a really nice melody and that evokes something. But for me, imagery is at the fore. Yeah. For my writing, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think that shines through, for want of a better way to put it. I think it's again, your songs are beautiful. I'm always enamored. I loved watching you play live, because I have huge respect for people that can stand alone on stage. I'm always hidden behind a guitar, behind a band kind of thing. But to stand on its own, especially with songs that are very sparsely arranged and stuff like yours, like I have highest regard. The only people above that is stand-up comedians, because that would terrify. Nothing would terrify me more than getting on stage and trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, sure.
God damn, that would be
awful.
I
think I hide behind my guitar a little bit. I don't think it would be easy for me. I've only in the last couple of years got on stage without guitar. Yeah. And it's a different beast. You know, it's
very exposed.
I understand. Yeah.
So why did you pick the 2 songs from today?
To be honest, I drove 5 hours to get here, and I knew that I would play the first one, but then I was tossing up with the second, and they're both unreleased songs. Okay. So I thought it'd be cool. I know you guys do a great thing here, so it'd be cool to share that with whoever's watching, and. Yeah, so the second song actually came out a few days ago on a completely acoustic album, but I have different ideas for how it will be on the album. Okay. When it eventually comes out with female vocals. Yeah.
More duet style thing, or
a little bit, yeah.
You take a step back and let her take.
Well, kind of like a Q&A a little bit, So we played. I've got a great band in Poland, and we have guest musicians come in, and my percussionist's partner is a beautiful pianist, Natalia Czekawa, her name is, and she also has an amazing voice. And so we played a couple of concerts, like the 4 of us, and then she stepped on stage with us, played piano, and sang as well. And it was just incredible. It was really sublime. So I imagine that's really how I envision the song's going to end up on the album.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you're saying to the band previously as well, stage is the best place to work anything out. I think, you can write a song to the nth degree, but until you play it live, you don't really realise how it's going to go. But you always find these beautiful things that sort of come out the woodwork when you start experimenting with stuff.
Yeah, so, I think you have to play it a few times as well, because I find that you step on stage with a new song, but it's only like the 3rd or 4th time. It's like, okay, now this is how it should be.
Start feeling what's comfortable, seeing how the crowd reacts almost. Yeah. Oh, no, lovely. Do they have the 2 songs from today, do they have any particular meaning to you, or is it more, not to underlie kind of thing, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a line in the first song. So the first song is called In the Valley, and now I've forgotten the line. I can never remember my lyrics when I have to speak about them. I think the line is in the valley where all echoes go to rest. And I was in a place in Poland, and I was looking upon a forest, and I took a photo of this line of trees, and there was something really beautiful about it. And this line came to my head, in the valley where all echoes go to rest. And so that kind of ended up, as maybe not the idea for the song, but that line was kind of built around.
The sort of concept of it, the initial. Okay,
yeah.
Beautiful.
And the second song, Something Beautiful, I think was the first song I wrote during the pandemic. Certainly you could say that it's for the people who are close to home for me, but maybe it was for a bit more than that. as well. You know, I think a lot of people did it tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, man. COVID was like the best time of my life.
Okay, yeah. I think for creative people, it was a really...
Well, it's like the German government were fair play. Like they did the funding, they took care of people. Like as long as you could prove your income previously, kind of thing. But it was like the Great Reset. Like I'd been working 70 hours a week, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, no, COVID was a good time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us probably learnt a lot about ourselves
yes.
during that time. Yeah.
Maybe some too much, but
yeah. Okay. Not a bad thing.
Oh yeah. All right. So where are we up to? I normally ask people how they find the local music scene, but obviously we can expand that to no. That's fine.
Yeah.
So for the local scene for you, is anybody you want to shout out as well from the local scene that you should hype up a little bit? But how is it in Poland or around your area for musicianship?
Yes, I live in a small city which used to be German, we actually, the cultural scene is quite good. A friend of mine who's also a songwriter and lives in the city, Opole, so Oppeln, I think in German. He runs a festival, and we get some really cool musicians coming through. And interestingly, he wants to book mostly international. So we had, Courtney Barnett come, Jessica Pratt, Arlo Parks played before she went absolutely gangbusters. But locally, I listen to a lot of older stuff. If you guys should check out Czesław Niemen. Phenomenal voice. Look him up on YouTube. But I think he is a legend of Poland. Check him out. Okay. Certainly, his voice is just incredible.
It's a strong endorsement.
There are some artists that you are just completely in awe of and floored by, and his vocal range and what he does with the notes he extends, and I don't think that I've heard somebody else sing like him.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he might have died I don't know when, I don't know. I won't say, but I know he's not alive today, unfortunately. But amazing musician.
I'll probably have to put a little link in below the video. I'm trying to translate.
How would you spell Czesław?
I'm going to say CH something.
See, and that's before I'd lived in Poland, I would probably say the same. Yeah. So CZ.
Okay, you see, I'm fucked already. Yeah, right. Eastern European writer, man. It's it works for them. Who am I to judge? Yeah. So then, actually speaking of that, I like to ask people. I used to ask people what their favourite band is, but if you ask a musician that, it's almost impossible because it changes every 10 minutes, kind of thing.
Sure.
But so, what are you listening to at the moment? So, if you were to go home now and stick on some music, what's your sort of go-to for now?
That's a tough question. I like a lot of desert blues, like African desert blues. I like there's some really cool Japanese African funk bands as well. Do you know? What do you want to say?
I completely forgot. I was on Instagram a little while ago, and a jazz drummer, I can forget his name as well. He suggested this album, and it was like a Japanese 80s jazz funk album.
Okay.
And I was like, that sounds so random. I'm just going to have to listen. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Some of the Japanese jazz stuff, they're so out there, and they just look like they're having the best time of their life.
Yeah.
Compared to European jazz musicians that look moody and just complaining all the time.
Sure.
Me being one of them.
Right.
And you see these Japanese guys, and they're just
they live
slaying,
it,
and they're so happy about it. And I was blown away by this album, but first of all, I can't pronounce the album to start with, and now it's forgotten out of my head.
Yeah.
But sorry,
one of the bands I would say to check out from Japan is, and I will say Ayate, but it's Ajate.
Okay.
So in Poland, the J is like a Y. Right?
Like a,
so that's why I think I would say Ayate, but it could be Ajate. I don't know. But super, super cool. They've got some nice live videos on YouTube as well.
Okay.
And, like you're saying, they just live it.
Yeah.
Like they absolutely feel the music. And a complete mix of people. Like there's a lady who plays, I can't remember what instrument she's playing now. It's similar. It's not Glockenspiel. Glockenspiel's metal.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's playing...
Like the wooden one, marimba?
She's
stuff?
playing marimba, I think.
Okay,
yeah, right. But she looks like she could work in your school library. You know? It's like so cool. And then the bass player's super funky, of course, and so it's a nice mix of people. Something that I've been listening to for a while.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. I have to slightly jump back. No, yeah, I will.
Okay.
I know I asked you about the local scene for Poland,
Mm-hmm.
but how have you found the music industry in general? Like the widespread dealing with, not just the admin, but dealing with bookers and any labels or anything like that. How have you found that from your personal perspective?
Poland isolated, or you mean like extended in general?
Over the world, once you get to a certain level, you find the industry's pretty small anyway. It's fairly well connected. Just from your personal experience kind of thing.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that I think it took me a little while to come out of myself. It was difficult in Australia. I think the industry in Australia is difficult, and even top artists will say that, there are only a handful of, maybe not, I shouldn't say that, but a handful of good managers or top managers. Yeah. And I'm certainly not of that caliber, but when the top musicians say that they have to get out of the country as well to play, it makes it very difficult, right? So
it's quite a bad omen to start with.
Yeah. So our first culture, I would say, is sport in Australia. It's not it's not the arts, unfortunately. It is changing, I hope. But here, in Poland, it took me a little while to figure out who to work with and how to approach it. Initially, I would just contact venues directly. And not get too many responses, and I think partly it was because of the English thing as well. Then I found bookers in Italy and in Germany and other places, and people have been pretty cool. Jackson, you guys have Munich sessions. So I think you just have to find the right people, and I think that in Europe there's kind of somebody for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
I mean, if you've experienced it, okay, there's a grain of truth regardless of if it's filmed. But
sure,
no, beautiful.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. You have to bear with me. So normally because there's so many German bands in, I've always asked about why they always sing in English rather than German. But obviously, you're a native English speaker, so that's kind of.
So I'm Australian. Why do you sing in English? Yeah. Okay.
It's all right. I was about to make a rather bad joke about English language, but it's fine. So. General, how do you phrase it? So, like musical heroes, is there anybody that really stands out from? I mean, I was explaining this to a previous band as well. Like, my musical education started before I started musical education, kind of thing. It's like in your parents' car.
Yep.
It's like what they listen to, and still to this day, I hold Paul Simon above nearly every singer-songwriter, if not above all singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
And I loved him before I knew what music was, kind of thing. And still, like as a lyricist. But is there anybody like that you know or that you can think of?
Sure. Well, I mean, coming back to Paul Simon, I mean, I probably didn't listen to him as much as I would now.
Yeah.
When I was younger. But I think the mentality that he had, and I remember reading his biography, or I think a snippet of it, and I think he said, by the time he was 30, he wanted to be a millionaire. And I'm not saying that we have to just aspire to that, but it's a great mentality to have. I'm good enough and I can do it. So I think that's to be respected from an artistic standpoint. But yeah, when I think I really discovered music when I was a teenager. And so for me at that time, there was Jeff Buckley, there was Ben Harper, there was, Radiohead. I really love Tom York because I think that he's just so open to so many different things.
What I've always loved about Tom York is he treats his vocals as an instrument, not as a sort of a way to get lyrics out.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you don't really know what he's saying.
And I do like that too.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah. But stuff, on anything on the In Rainbows album, stuff like Nude, when it just kind of glides in. Yeah. And I think that's pretty rare for a vocalist to treat it as an instrument rather than as a way to tell a story. Almost.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think this is what I was trying to say with Niemen before, the Polish artist. It's his voice is an instrument. Yeah. Completely different. So those guys are kind of, I guess, they had an impact on me when I was a teenager. Prior to that, I guess I listened to what was on the radio or what my parents were playing. But yeah, I remember my sister was really into U2, and my brother was into Tracy Chapman a bit, and so that was kind of always floating about. Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid songwriter base right there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No need to squash Tracy Chapman. She's a
absolutely. Man. Her voice, and I think her, she's got this great charisma. I think, incredible artist. Yeah.
All right. I think you've covered all my questions in beautiful form. So we'll just wrap it up there for today.
Okay.
And, so I say thank you for coming down. I know you've
Thanks
driven
so
a
much
long
for
way,
having
and
me.
I know you're playing a show tomorrow, so it kind of ties all in nicely.
Sure.
They won't hold you from your swimming too much.
No, I've got to get in the water. I love the water. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to promote coming up? New albums, new releases?
Sure.
Any big shows in the thing?
Well, actually, I released today's Saturday, so on Wednesday I released a completely live acoustic album, which is now available for streaming anywhere you stream music. It's called Live Man Hippie Sufka, which is the place we recorded in the Polish mountains with my good friend Grzegorz Gołębiowski, who took photos, recorded everything, and there will be a physical album, but as usual, we're waiting for the delivery of the CDs. But yeah, you can listen to that now, and also a piano version of an old song of mine called Les Moustiques, which is up on streaming services as well.
Nice. Recording in the Polish mountains sounds horrible, man. It's a terrible time.
Drinking. The guy there is so cool. He's a young dude. He's younger than me. He makes all his own liqueur. He makes his own absinthe, which is just phenomenal. So you play a concert there, and then afterwards you play ping pong until 4 in the morning. I wouldn't do that in any other place, but I have to there. Why not? And he's got a stream across the road as well, so I go and have a quick dip as well, and it's fresh water. It's super fresh.
I was going to say that sounds cold.
Mountain
cold.
water. Yeah. So that's the Bieszczady Mountains there next to Ukraine. So wild, really lovely place.
Outstanding. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks
It was
for
an absolute
having me,
pleasure
man.
having you in here. And guess we'll see you tomorrow for the show.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Cool.